Okay, y'all, and we are live. This is the One Nation Podcast 864. Once again, it's Motivational Tuesday. I got my girl Ashley Mallory in the building and my guy Kenny Moore, man. Y'all give him a round of applause, man.
Yes, sir, Ski.
Yes.
Yes, sir. And last week I asked Ashley to pick a topic, and she picked a great one. It's faith and therapy. Ain't that right, Ashley? Did I get that right?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Awesome.
yes.
Awesome topic. Awesome topic,
Right.
y'all.
Right. So
Yeah.
before we start, I want to read the definition of faith. Um,
Okay.
Faith, complete trust or confidence in someone or something. Strong belief in God or in the doctrines of religion based on spiritual apprehension rather than proof. That's the definition for faith. Now, when we go to therapy, we got a treatment intended to relieve or heal a disorder. The treatment of mental conditions by verbal communication and interaction. So, Ashley, since you picked this topic, sweetheart, I'm gonna let you jump on one of them first, and we're gonna have a good time with this because I know me and Kenny both got a lot to say when it comes to faith and therapy. So, whichever one you want to talk about first, Ashley, let's go.
So let me start off by saying I picked this because it's very much still a thing in our community where
Okay.
we just feel like you can't do both. You can pray it away, whatever that means.
Mm-hmm.
You can faith it away if you only trust in God. And now hear me. God is a wondrous person, a wondrous man,
Yes.
he does a wondrous work, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he
Mm-hmm.
also gave us free will. He also gave us in that free will the discernment, if we listen and we still, to know and understand when we need to seek other things, right? And your good common sense,
Right.
right?
Right.
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 He
Right.
made doctors. He made
Mm-hmm.
certain medicines, right? Why we
Mm-hmm.
don't rely on them, and not totally, but faith without works is dead. So my faith tells me, right,
Mm-hmm.
to believe wholeheartedly that I do. And I also believe that I need some extra work. I need some things worked out, whether it be things with my childhood, past relationships,
Mm-hmm.
especially if I keep coming up against the same thing and I'm unable to shake it myself. That's
Mm.
the pure definition of insanity.
Mm. You're
Some
right.
things need a little extra working out. We go
Right.
to the
Right.
chiropractor when you got that kink in your back and it need a little extra stretching.
Yep.
Nobody
Right.
says
Right.
anything about that. The
Yep.
You're
mind
right.
is a muscle too.
Yep.
Right. Right. You're right
Your
about that.
heart is a muscle too. So
Yep.
why we
Mm-hmm.
are not wanting to keep those things in tune and worked out and go see the professionals necessary to stretch those muscles is beyond me. So that
Right.
is why I felt this topic was so important, because it's still a thing in our community where, especially with like certain age groups, like my grandmother's age group, oh
Yeah.
listen, they just really not fans or that therapy that make it seem like if you go sit on somebody's couch, you crazy. I think if you don't go sit on somebody's couch, you
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah.
That's real.
You're right. You're right. You're definitely right about that. That therapy, with both faith and therapy, like you say, is something we talk about tonight. But I can kind of talk about both of them, because I'm a person that has lost his faith before and gained it back.
Come
Um,
on, be honest.
um,
Yeah.
just to be like you say, Ashley, like you said last week, we always talk, we keep it a buck on here, man. And I'm gonna be real. When I lost my mother, I lost my faith. That was
Me and you.
just, yeah, you know what I'm saying? It was like I'm on I was on a level like, how can someone, because in our eyes, we see our mothers. I never seen my mother do no wrong. When she did, she hid it from me. You know what I mean? But I just looked at, I said, this lady spent all these years taking care of me, held me down, and for cancer to just come through and
Mm.
wipe her out. And we ain't, like my mom always told me, you ain't supposed to question God's work, but I
Yep.
No.
did. You know what I mean? I did. And I was wondering, like, why would you do this to her? Why her? Why, why specifically her? And I lost my faith. But I'm gonna tell you something. As I lost my faith, going along with losing my mother, in the years and years without her, I gained my faith back because I had to have someone I could turn to. And I can remember my mama always telling me, when nobody else is in your corner, always
Come
remember
on.
God is in your corner. So
Come
when
on.
that happened, and I ain't gonna lie, y'all, I got down on my knees, I prayed, got my faith back, start going back to church. But like I told Sade, I said, heck, yeah, we start going back to church, but I've had my faith before I went to church. You know what I mean? So
Come
it
on.
wasn't like just because I went to church, your faith was back. No, I talked to God Himself, in a quiet room, on my
Come
knees,
on.
tears in my eyes, and I got
Come
it, and
on.
I got it back because without your faith, man, you really lost. And I seen that.
Come
You know
on.
what I'm saying, Ashley.
Yes. Yeah.
You out here, man, Kenny, you out here, you just don't
Yep.
know where to turn. And then all kind
You
of stuff,
wandering. You
right?
wandering
All
without
kind
your
of stuff.
faith.
Yeah, it creeps in your head, and you like,
Yep.
wait a minute. But then you got to get a hold of yourself. You got to be like, hold on. Let me just take some steps back, get myself
Yes.
together, and do what I'm supposed to do. So that's my
Yeah.
part on losing faith. Kenny, shoot us something right quick, bro. What you got?
My faith was tested when I lost 6 family members in 1 year. But out of the
Okay.
six,
Ooh.
it's really been tested because I lost my grandmother first, my dad,
Mm,
and my mom.
mm.
And
Mm.
I questioned God on that
Yeah.
because I was angry and I was pissed because I didn't understand
Yeah.
why He took them from me like that. But when I backtrack,
Mm-hmm.
God gave me opportunity to make peace with my mom and dad before He took them. He gave me 3 chances. And that third one, He told me, he said, I'm not going to tell you again, son. He told me, like, we sitting there talking to get each other
Yeah.
tonight. This is my last time telling you.
Mm.
And I knew then I had to go. I had to allow my faith to guide me to go do what I needed to do. I
Right.
wasn't fearful, but I was still angry. So I had
Mm.
to
Mm-hmm.
allow my faith to step into low. I know what I needed to do for me. And
Oh.
once I did that with my dad, did it with my mom, it's
Mm-hmm.
like I got closure on why. I understood why He did it. And when He did it, He took him. And
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
when He took him, it cut me.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Because I wasn't ready for him to go. Even though He gave me an opportunity to make peace with them for me, I still wasn't ready for him
Mm-hmm.
to go yet. But
Yeah.
my faith was strongly tested then because look here, man, that was a that was a
Yeah.
rough year. That was a rough year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Heck
That was
I
a rough
know
yeah.
it
year
was.
because when I tell you, man, I didn't know if I was going or coming. I didn't because when I lost my grandmother, it started, man, I was up and down the road, up and down the road, up and down the road. I was so tired. I don't know how I was moving.
Mm.
I was just, and it's like that was my heart. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, God, I said, man, when I finally got home to get rest, he was in hospice. And I told my
Okay.
uncle, I said, I gotta go home and get some rest, man. I said, call me, uncle, if anything go wrong. I got
Mm-hmm.
home, y'all. I didn't shut. As soon as I shut my eyes at midnight, as soon as I shut my eyes, it's like 30 minutes went by
Yeah.
and my phone rang. And
Yeah.
my uncle said, nephew, she gone. I said, I'm on the way.
Yeah.
That man, that was the hardest. I was in fear, even though I
Mm-hmm.
knew God was gonna bring her home, but I was still in fear because I wasn't ready for my mama to go yet.
Right.
And I told God, I said, I know why you did what you did. I said, I just wasn't ready yet. I
Yeah.
said, but I understand your timing is your timing. So my faith, man, faith for me, it oversees everything. It oversees the hurt, it oversees the pain, it oversees the fear, it oversees anything that you feel like you're not doing right. I feel like you can't get back on track with something. Faith is that seed that you plant
Yeah.
that
Come
helps you
on.
get back on. It helps you get back on that platform of
Right.
what God
Right.
wanted you to. God wanted you to be from the get go. But sometimes we fall off. We get scarred up a
Yeah.
little bit. But we got to get back up.
That's
Okay,
true.
God, I'm ready. So
Yeah.
that's mine on faith, man. That's mine on faith.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
see, and that's where I feel like therapy comes in. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Grief. Right.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
found my grandmother deceased in the very home I'm sitting in.
Mm.
Yep.
And I'm talking about the home that she raised me in. She raised my mother in. This
Mm-hmm.
home has so many memories, and it really does look just like it looks the same. I
Yeah.
haven't changed much. But do you know the kind of therapy I had to go through to be in here and my heart not be beating through my chest because she
Yeah.
took her last breaths here, because
Right.
the trauma that came with finding her deceased,
Yeah.
because of the trauma that comes with I was holding on to her for dear life. I'd already lost my mother.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I was praying. I have
Yep.
my faith. If don't nobody know who God is for themselves, it's me, because he's brought me
Yeah.
out of some stuff that, listen, he's brought me out of being physically abused in relationships. He's brought, like,
Mhm.
I know who God is. I
Right.
know
Right.
him, right? But I
Right.
had to admit, just like Ken, I was angry. I
Yep.
was
Yeah.
real upset that he took my grandma, because that's all I had left, even though she was 83.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
real upset. I'm talking about upset to the point I didn't want to see no pictures. I didn't want to hang up
Mhm.
no pictures. For a year, I drove by this house and just picked the mail up and went back to Columbia. I wouldn't come in here.
Mm. Mm.
But
Mm.
but I'm stifling and hurting me.
Mhm.
Yep.
You're not gonna grow like that.
Right.
You're not gonna get
Right.
the peace
Right.
that you
You're right.
need like
Right.
that. So
Right.
I had to seek some counseling. So I got a therapist, and I went through grief counseling at first. And that grief
Mhm.
counseling was able to allow me to dig up some things in our childhood. Because if we honest, which here's again that stigma, a lot of the things that our parents taught us, we had to unlearn. Unless that's just me.
Yeah.
You're right.
You know what
You're
I'm
right.
saying?
Yep.
A
You're
lot
right.
of the stuff that they taught us, and I'm not shaming them, because they did the best they could with what they
Right.
had.
Right.
Right?
Right.
But when
Right.
you old enough to know better, you do better. So I
Yeah.
had to unlearn some things that they taught me, because it didn't fit in with what I believed as an adult. It didn't fit in for what I wanted as my, for my children. It didn't
Yeah.
fit in, you know what I mean? Like, for
Yeah.
those reasons. There was some stuff that came with that, because like, Bessie
Yeah.
told me this, Lakita told me that. I don't know if I want to ruffle them feathers. And you can't live for them. They lived.
Yeah.
They're
They live their life.
deceased.
They live their life. You're
You
right.
know what
You're
I'm
right.
saying? Now
You're right.
it's up to me to be the best version of myself for my children, and
Mhm.
like, do some things for me mentally, so I show up as the best version of me. And I don't know why there's such a stigma with that, because guess who love the Lord and gonna take their Zoloft every morning?
I feel you. I feel you.
Guess who love the Lord? And I suffer with this. Having Crohn's makes my anxiety and sometimes my depression even worse, because it changed
Okay.
my life overnight, and I very much went through that. Like you were talking about your mother, why me?
Mm.
I ain't
Yeah.
bothering nobody. I
Yeah.
Right.
don't bother nobody. I
Yeah.
get
Right.
cute, speak, wave, hug, love, laugh, and go home. How
Right.
Yeah.
did I end up with something like that affects my body daily, where now I'm dealing with swelling in my hands, swelling in my legs? That's a
Mhm.
test of your faith.
Right. 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 You're
um
absolutely right.
so, like, yeah, therapy is needed, and I just don't know why in the Black community it still just has this stigma attached to it, like you can't do both. When, just like I stated, your back is a muscle, and when it has kinks and different things in it, no one shuns you or bats an eye when you go
You're
to the
right.
chiropractor. Like, your mind and your heart on a muscle and don't
Right.
need maintenance too.
And
Yep.
you know what? Like you said, I went through therapy. But I wonder why, in our community, and I'm not seeing it happen. I'm not seeing some friends of mine come out and just say, "Hey, I had to go to therapy," and then some more just clowning over there. Like laughing at it. Like, no, bro. Like, if you needed to go do that to get yourself back on the right track, salute to you, because I know I did it. I've done therapy, counseling, marriage counseling. I've done it
Yes.
all. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of them things, like with me, and I'm gonna go back to therapy. Let me go back to faith right quick on something.
Okay.
I had to, we don't understand why we lose a loved one. We don't.
Mm,
We
mm.
don't get it. But let me ask y'all something. When you lost Ashley, you lost your mother, Kenny, you lost your grandmother. Did it make you, how I want to say, did it make you, I know it made you stronger, but did it bring something else to light for y'all? Because I'm going to tell you what happened. Me and my father used to bump heads, left to right. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what happened, man, but months after my mother passed, we still bumped heads. But somewhere along the line, we became closer. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And it was like, I'm not trying to say this in a rude manner for me, but it was like God needed my mother back home to take care of business, but here he needed to make me and my father stronger. That makes sense. Come together as one.
Definitely.
Definitely.
And
Definitely.
I'm just
Everything
looking
is
at it now.
intentional.
Right. Now we're not all buddy, but we are way better than what the hell we used to be. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it
Yep.
comes to now I lean on him for certain things, he lean on me for certain things, and it's just made us better. Like he come over, it's more interaction with the kids. He's a grandfather now and stuff like that. And I just
Good.
look back at it, man, and I say, you know, even though we lost that staple in our family, like my mother was the one that kept the family together, but it made me and him closer. You know what I'm saying? It made us stronger, man. And that's something.
Listen.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask y'all, did y'all go through something, like that?
I
So
think.
a lot of people don't know this. Oh, Kenny, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, baby. No, go ahead.
Me and my grandmother did
Uh-huh.
not speak for a couple years. Kenny know my grandma. Bessie was
Yeah.
hard.
Yep. Yep.
Bessie was rough.
Yep.
So when I
I love that
became an
woman Steph,
adult,
though. I love that woman
listen,
Steph. That was my
and I
girl.
did too. The
That was my
flyest
girl.
thing you seen walking, and
That
was
was my girl. That
funny.
one.
Love her and
That
miss
was my
her,
girl.
but we did have a period where we were
Mhm.
not good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? For some years, we weren't good. And when my mother passed, there were still some years that we weren't good, but it looked
Right.
different to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It looked
Yeah.
different to me because God, you already took my mama.
Mm-hmm.
Bessie not getting any younger.
Right.
This
Right.
all I really have besides my children, because I don't have any siblings. My mother didn't have any siblings, so there are no cousins, no uncles, it's none of that.
Okay. Okay.
So my family dynamic is already different. When
Yeah.
I feel like I had to lose Lakita to strengthen
Right.
my faith and my course, my walk with God. I'm gonna tell you why, real quick.
Right.
Lakita was my bread and butter.
Right.
Kenny knew
Right.
Lakita was the end all be all for me. If she said it was so, it was so.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And I hate to admit that, but that's just what it was for me growing up. Even
Yeah.
though I went to church every Sunday, sung on the Sunbeam Choir, I was an angel during the Christmas season. Like I did all the things Cornerstone had going on.
Yeah.
Lakita was my God. I'm gonna keep
Gotcha.
it a buck with you.
Yeah.
When I
Yeah.
needed something or something didn't go right for me, and I needed 2 + 2 = 4, I went to
Yeah.
Lakita before I
You're
fell
right.
on my knees.
Mm-hmm.
When God took Lakita home, and I thought about taking my own life because I was so
Mm.
upset, so distraught. Like, let's just be 100 on this here app.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be here no more because that was my first major loss. And your first one, your mother?
Yeah. Right. Talk to him, Ashley. Talk to him.
What do
You
I
right.
do with that?
You
I'm
right.
angry.
Yeah.
That's usually your first emotion is anger. I was
Right.
pregnant with my son. Hear me. I was pregnant
Mm-hmm.
with my son and in an abusive marriage where I was getting my tail beat and my mother chooses to die.
Mm. Mm. Yeah.
I'm
I
angry.
got.
I'm hurt. I'm heavy. I'm crying. I'm in the backyard with a belly full of life and I don't want to be here no more.
I feel you. I feel you.
You know
I
what I'm
got
saying?
exactly what
So
you're saying.
I had to, when the longer the years that went by without Lakita, that rift with me and Bessie it didn't seem right. It seemed unnecessary. What had
Mm-hmm.
happened was old. And if
Right.
nothing is promised to you in life, it's death. And Bessie wasn't getting any younger. It's all I had. I have to be
Mm-hmm.
grown.
Right.
I
Right.
have to
I
be an
feel you.
adult because these old folks swear they got it all figured out and got together, but they'll hold a grudge, they honor it, they'll
Yeah.
just keep that thing going if you let them. I
You're
ain't
right.
lying. I'm gonna
You're
talk
right.
about them. It is what it is.
Yeah.
That generation just can be stuck like that.
Yeah.
They really can be kind of shut down, and that's because of stuff
Yeah.
they've been through. They come from a generation where they're getting called out their names, beat, dogs, sick, dog,
Yeah.
and they've been through some things.
Mm-hmm.
So I came to Betsy and was like, I still want to help with this. I still want to help you pay that. Like just, I still want to be a part. And just slowly but surely, that layer in that wall started coming down. My grandma was never the one to say, I love you. She was not the affectionate one. It was my mother. Betsy started telling me she loved me. Before she passed, I was able to entertain her in my home in Columbia and let me handle Thanksgiving. Let me take care of it for you.
Right.
She got to
Right.
really see me in my business and be grown and be an adult and not need nothing from her but her to come and be a part of this
Right. Be a
holiday.
part
And
of
that's the
it. Right.
last Thanksgiving that we had together. And
Mm.
I thank God that through therapy and working through that stuff that we went through, I was able to
Mm-hmm.
forgive myself.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Mm-hmm.
able to forgive her.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to really chalk it up and look at our parents like people, because there ain't no book to this. They
Right.
did the
It's
best they
not.
could. I'm sure if we got with our children, it's some shit we could have did different too.
Damn right. You're right. You're right. You're
So you have
right.
to
Right.
look at your parents and understand that
Yeah.
they are imperfect people too, and they were doing the best they could.
They will. They
They
will.
didn't always get it right. So, but we ain't
Nope.
gonna, and now that you're a parent, that make all the more sense in the world. So I was able to forgive myself. I was able to forgive Bessie. She would start telling me she loved me. It used to make me cry because she never told me that growing up.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
never told
It
me
touched.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. It got
But
to you.
before
I
she died,
understand.
it was I love you. I'm proud of you. Other people that she had told at Cornerstone stopped and told me when she passed, like, your grandma was so proud of you. And I didn't hear that a lot from her.
Yeah. I feel you.
But imagine if I hadn't gone to therapy and I was still holding that grudge and something happened to my grandma.
It would have been bad. It would have been bad.
I was
It
able
would
to
have
work
been
through
bad.
my stuff. You got to work through your stuff.
You right. You right. What you got, Kenny?
I didn't mean to be
Think-
long-winded. I love
No,
you, Ken.
no, sis. I'm gonna say this first before I go into my thing on therapy. God was laying the foundation for you, baby girl, already. The
Oh, I appreciate that.
foundation was being laid. Even though you lost your mom, your mom was teaching you as God was preparing her to come home. And in that, your grandmother was already she was being taught as well.
Mm-hmm.
She was being taught as well. Yeah, when you lost your mom, it hurt
Mm.
like hell. You lost your mom, it hurt like hell. I know it did.
Mm.
Mine did too. But
Yeah.
through that storm, God allowed you to see you, the old you,
Mm.
the new you, and now
Mm.
the new and improved you. What you got to do, your grandma got to share it with you before she left. So the
Mhm.
foundation was laid.
Mm.
It was thin at first, but as you went through what you went through, it got thicker, it got more sturdy, and got more stronger. It made you the woman
Mhm.
you are today. I've
Right.
been meaning to say it to you a long time ago, but
Ken, you gonna
what
make me
better
cry, man. I'm a thug. You gonna make me cry.
what better place to say it on here?
Girl, shed them
As far as
tears.
that's all right to shed tears, baby. I say that I've been meaning to say that to you a long time because I know you. Man, you go way back. I ain't gonna talk about our business on here, but man, you go way back. And I love you. I love the hell out of you, Ashley. I do because
I love you too.
I've seen your struggle. I've seen you be tough when you really needed to be, when you really wanted to cry, but you didn't cry.
Mhm.
I've seen you fight when you needed somebody to hold you.
Right.
I've seen you go through hell and back, and you come out the other side with the scars. I'm crying too. When you come out the other side with scars on you. So I'm gonna tell you, baby
Mhm.
girl, I'm proud of you. So therapy for me, man, got me over here crying.
I'm supposed to be the thug. I'm the one about to give
man.
off the street.
Man, me too, Thomas.
Woo!
I say this. I'm gonna say this first before I go into mine. Crying is a sign of releasing.
Yeah.
Crying is a sign of letting it go, of letting it go, and letting God have it. A crying is a sign of cleansing.
Yeah.
Crying is a sign of just peace.
Right.
Man.
And I needed that. Thank you though, because it just be. I think people look at me and I make it look easy, but the load ain't always light.
It's not.
Yeah.
Y'all
It's not.
talking about therapy.
It's not this.
When you talk about therapy, man, mine goes back. Mine started with me with my grandmother, probably around about 13 years old.
Mm.
It started then because I was going through hell. I was going through a lot as a child. A child should be going through. When I get over here, when people look at stuff, they think you shouldn't say what you should. You shouldn't say this. You shouldn't say that. Yeah, I should, because people Somebody needs to hear what we're saying. Somebody's going through what we're going through. Somebody's already living it,
Amen.
have lived it, or dealing with it as we speak. So, you know, therapy for me, it was a process of seeing, you know, my mom, my dad. My mom gave me up when I was a child. You know, my dad got in the streets, drugs, women, you know, all that stuff. My dad was lost. He was doing what he was doing. And we were the punching bags. You know, my mom, my stepmom, my brothers, me, we was the punching bags. And more I got punched, the angrier I got. The more I got punched, the more I wanted to retaliate. The more I got punched, the angrier I got. The more I got punched, the more I just, you know, my grandmother, I would have talk conversation. I mean, my grandma knew what was going on off my mouth. But when I say therapy, when I think about therapy, when I was able to actually sit down and have a conversation with my grandmother, actually the real conversation. My exact words was, I told her I didn't know what else to do. I was lost. I was done. Because I went to her to tell her what I was going to do to my dad. I went to her and tell her what I was going to do to my dad, which was her son. Because I had enough. I even told God, forgive me, you know, but this is where I'm at. And my grandma said, she says, her words out of her mouth was, she would go to hell and back for me. She would die for me. She said, I'll never let nothing happen to you. And I'm going to mold you and heal and help you heal through this process. I'm going to be here for you through this journey. And when you think of therapy, that's part of therapy is healing.
It is. Amen.
And receiving the love from somebody who knows what you're going through, who knows everything you're going through, and showing you love because you never seen it. And applying love to you so you can receive what love feels like instead of getting punched, getting beat on. Beating on and getting punched is not love. It's not.
Right.
Nope.
It's angry. It's anger and something somebody's going through, and that's their way of there's their way of showing that they love you. That's not love. I don't care what nobody say. It's not love. So therapy, man.
You're right.
It wasn't just her talking to me. My grandma would go to scripture. I mean, she
come on.
When I tell you, I don't care what I was dealing with, whether it was temptation, whether it was anger, whether it was hurt, whether it was lashing out, whatever it was, she would say, okay, go to Genesis chapter 2, read verses 5 through 6. And she didn't say read it. Say, get your notebook out, put yourself in the text, replace what you're dealing with the text. So everything I do, from motivational speaking to the King's Table to words of encouragement to post, that's my therapy. That's what she gave me. Yeah. That's what she instilled in me. So that is my therapy. That's something I do every day. That's I give my therapy out every single day because that's my inner therapy. And that continues to help me grow, help me be the man God teach me to be. And I'm also touching and helping somebody else. Thomas, you done told me.
Amen.
You know, I never know who I'm touching. But when I had my brother Thomas and Drew tell me, man, how much, man, look at him, man. Man, look at him.
I know, bro.
I mean,
I know.
People don't understand, man. You know, I was one of them people, man, I always worried about what people said. You know, can they talk and talk about you? You know, now I don't give a damn. Because at the end of the day, I know what God has for me. I know what God is taking me. It ain't just me. The King's Table is something me, Thomas, and Drew. It takes 3 to prosper. So you got 864 podcasts, you got King's Table, we on this journey together, man. So the hell with everybody else. If you're not where I'm at, I don't hate you. I'm gonna pray for you, but I got to remove myself from you. Right. Because I got God taking me places that I can't have no dead weight, no baggage on me. And so my
listen, and that's why we're together. That's why God aligned this, because we're going to take each other to different places. We'll be in rooms where you might not be invited, but I'm gonna speak your name. So you know what I mean? That's why we're aligned, because everybody can't go, but when you have like-minded people with you.
Hold on 1 second, y'all. Keep going.
Okay.
Where you have like-minded people with you, you can't lose. You can't lose.
But yeah, baby, that's my therapy. Is motivating, uplifting, speaking life, receiving life from people who love me, who respect me. That's my therapy. And I love the therapy that I'm able to live through me and give to other people. That's my therapy.
We thank God for you.
That's something my grandma instilled in me, and I that's something discernment. Discernment, I can see things, I can read things, I can read people, and I can read people about what they say in their body language.
Come on.
And I know exactly what to say because I've been there. I'm not
We
perfect.
thank God for
I've
you.
I've made
Yes.
mistakes. I'm gonna continue to make mistakes, but I know I'll allow God to help me. I don't run from it no more. I'll allow God
Yeah.
to step
I
in and
think that's key.
you can't run
It's
from
not
something.
running from it no more.
No,
It doesn't behoove you. You know what
no,
I mean? To
no.
run from it anyway. At some points, dealing with God and just the mistakes you made,
Yes,
you gotta put your big draws on. You know what I'm
that's
saying?
it.
Like just
That's it. That's it, baby.
it is what it is. If
That
he's
is.
our father, so he's gonna
Yes.
chastise you. You can't
Yep.
just be out here willy-nilly. If God don't chastise you, his hand ain't on you. You
That's it.
can't just be out here all
Woo.
willy-nilly and and
You
and
can't.
and, and be one of God's chosen few and be one
You
of God's
cannot.
children and not expect him to correct you when you wrong.
You
It's just
cannot.
You're right.
You can.
if you out here like that without being chastised, God hand ain't on you because God is he's our father. So correction comes with it.
Yep. And when you run for something, you as soon as you come back to that same place that what you ran from is sitting right
Yes.
there waiting on you. It's waiting on you. If
Yes.
you
Ain't
have
no
not
need to
released
run
it,
from it.
you
Address
haven't
it.
released it and gave it to God. Until you do that, it's gonna be right every time you turn around.
You ain't
But
lying.
it's gonna be worse every time you come back to it. It's gonna be worse and heavier every time you come back to it.
You're
Every
gonna
time.
keep getting that whooping until
That's
you
it.
address it.
That's it.
You're right. Y'all was talking about therapy. I did a different. Well, I've done three types of therapy, but I guess to say the main one that I did that stuck out the most, I did therapy for myself. If that's what I call it.
Heck yeah.
I turned into a person I didn't know, I didn't recognize after my mom died. And like you said, Ashley, I thought about ending it myself
Mhm.
one time. You know what I mean? Um, and I had turned to the liquor bottle, man,
And
and
we
that was
appreciate
the
your
wrong.
transparency.
Oh yeah.
Thank, thank you. And it was just one of them things where I couldn't get my shit together. You know what I mean?
Come on.
So I talked to this person, I talked to that person, but it really boiled down to me just saying in my head, okay, I got to get this together. I got to get
Yep.
this shit together because God got something planned for me. You know what I'm saying?
Come on.
And when I look back on it now, let's just say I had a done that or had a stayed into liquor bottles. No telling where I'd be. Wouldn't be
Come
married.
on.
Wouldn't have no kids. You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't be living the life I'm living now. And I gotta thank God that He taught me off those ledges, or He brought me
Yes.
back to reality, showed me what I
Yes.
needed to see. Because if it wasn't for that, man, I don't know where I can't even imagine my life now without the fam. You know what I mean?
Come
It
on.
just it's one of those things that I wouldn't even try. And I guess, after
Because
that
it
happened,
gives
I
you a
got
new meaning for wanting to be here. It gives you a new reason for
right,
wanting to be here.
right,
That come
right.
on.
And I told somebody the other day, I said, man, they was going through something. I said, man, look, I understand you want to go to therapy, do that by all means. If you can't get it from this place, go somewhere where you can get it. Go somewhere that somebody will
Yes.
listen. And I
Yep.
told him one thing. I said, but it's one thing I want you to do, bro. When you walk into that room and when you lay on that couch or sit on that couch, however it is, understand you're not by yourself. God with you. You know
Come
what I mean?
on.
He's gonna help you get those words out. He's gonna help you change your way of thinking, your way of living, because there's a lot of people out here going through a lot, that
Come
we don't
on.
even know about. And like you
Come
said,
on.
Ashley, going back to the therapy thing, I wonder why we look down. Well, not us, but our people look down on
Our
somebody going
community.
to going to talk to somebody because they have a problem. But like
Because
you said,
listen,
shouldn't you want somebody to talk to somebody if they have a problem? You don't want them doing nothing crazy. You know what I
we are
mean?
the same community, and I love us, but this is again a platform we'll keep it a buck with, right? We are the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
community that would have this stigma against therapy, but had an uncle that's feeling on the little girl cousin sitting at the dinner table for Thanksgiving But you
Right.
don't think she need to
Right.
talk to
Right.
somebody where she keeps seeing her accuser at every family function? Do you know the
Yeah.
kind of trauma that would bring? Like, can you even imagine the kind of
Oh man.
trauma that would bring? Like, I can't express to you the trauma that it brought to me to find my grandmother laying dead on a dining room floor. Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like the trauma, there are
Yeah.
traumas. You know what I mean?
It
So
is.
going to
It
talk
is.
to my therapist like allowed me to unpack that stuff, allowed me to
Mhm.
be honest about how I was feeling and get the help that I needed because, and this is no
Yeah.
lie, your body reacts to trauma.
Yep.
It do.
Your
It
body
do.
does not forget trauma.
Right. You right.
And a
You
lot of
right
time
about
in
that.
reacting to that, there comes your anxiety. There
Right.
comes your depression. You know what I mean? Like when I say I'm not exaggerating, I could be in this home dealing with like PTSD because I'm looking at the dining room floor right now. And if I just allow myself to stay in that moment and the devil to use me, I can see my grandma laying on the floor. And I'll be
Yep.
Right.
triggered. And then my
Right.
heart rate will jump from a resting, 85 talking to y'all to 130, 35 beats per minute, like I'm on a treadmill.
Right.
And that's
Yep.
my
Right.
body reacting to that trauma. And that's
Right.
where I
Right.
was when I started going to seek therapy every week. I literally passed
Mhm.
out in my bathroom. I felt
Mm.
myself having a panic attack and I jumped up because they'll tell you like to try to change your body temperature, use an ice pad, take a cold
Yeah, they
shower.
do.
There are different mind tricks that you can do, right? But I was beyond that point. And my heart rate was almost 140 beats per minute resting, laying in
Yeah.
the bed.
Mm.
I had
Yeah.
started sweating.
Mm.
I had started shaking. My chest was hurting. My mouth was dry. Panic attacks mimic heart attacks. I was there.
Yep.
You hear what I'm saying?
Mhm.
By the time I jumped up
I
and my
feel you.
husband had cut the cold
It's
water on, I had done fell out in the floor,
Yep.
passed out. When I woke up,
mm.
and
Mm.
this is scary. When I woke up, I could hear my husband talking to me, but I couldn't open my mouth and speak to him.
Yep.
Oh
I could
man.
hear him,
Oh
Ashley,
man.
you okay?
That's
You
rough.
okay? I could hear him say the ambulance is on the way, but the words, nothing would come out my mouth.
Yep.
And you would
Mm.
look at somebody like that and not tell them to seek the help that they need? Crazy.
You're right.
It's funny, y'all.
That's
Crazy.
crazy.
Funny y'all say that talking about other people. 90% of the time, people reason people do what they do is few reasons. They're either jealous of jealous, scared, or comfortable where they at.
Come
So
on.
Okay.
they're never gonna see what we see. They're never gonna own up to what they need to do. They either turn to the bottle, turn to sex, turn to drugs, or turn to making
Right.
excuses. It's all excuse in there.
Right.
It's always
It
excuse.
Right.
is. It
But
is.
it
Right.
takes a real person to own up to their excuses. Take a real person to put that bottle down. Take a real person to put
Yeah.
that pill down. Take a real person
Right.
to own up to say, I got a problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
It takes a real
Take
person
accountability. Yeah.
to say that. But
Yeah.
90% of them won't do that. And sometimes it takes a total stranger to
It
tell
does.
you what you don't want to hear to get you
Yeah.
back, to bring you
You're
back
right.
to reality. Look, this is what it is. If you don't do X,
Yeah.
Y, and Z, you're gonna be right here. So
Yeah. And I'm gonna
Right.
tell you something else it could be too. A lot of people are uncomfortable being in your comfort
oh yeah.
because we're comfortable
Mhm.
talking about what we are now, what we used to
Yes.
be, how we're
Right.
still
Yes.
working and living
Right.
in that truth. It'll make
Yep.
somebody who hasn't grown
Right.
to that place real uncomfortable. So
That's
them
true.
be the people that you will hear
Right.
like, well, why
You're
you
right.
need to do
It'll make
that?
them
Well,
better
I
at.
wouldn't
Oh
have
yeah.
done that. You
Why
don't
y'all doing
have
that?
the faith nor the capacity to go through what I've gone
Right.
through and be sitting where I am. That's why you wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
Right.
Because the
Yeah.
devil would have just overtaken you and you'd have just
Right.
let him have his way. But I know there's a purpose for me and I had to keep moving. So I needed to put myself in places that would
Right.
that will allow me to be more abundant than I was before, to allow me to grow, to help me flourish.
Right.
That you'll be surprised.
Right.
People will be real uncomfortable with you because of how comfortable you are in your own skin and loving
Yep.
your growth and speaking on
Yeah.
your growth and
Yeah.
just speaking on the person that you
Right.
are. When somebody ain't there yet, like Kenny
Right.
said, it'll show all over
Right.
them because they be
Yep.
real uncomfortable with
Yeah.
you.
I've had like the growth, well, just speaking on therapy and the growth with me. I'm one of those type, let me see, like back in the day, you know, we was young. I used to be the cocky type or whatever. I'm not like that no more. So I've had some friends come to me over the past few months, and they be like, "Hey, bro, I'm like, what's going on?" Talking about, man, I'm proud of you. Like, okay, you know, they see the podcast, they see me doing this, they see me doing that, but they say what I'm most proud of is your way of thinking now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because at one point in time, if something was to go wrong, I'm ready to handle it a whole nother way. And I tell you, man, that's the growth. That's me just growing up. And I'm not one of them people to show it. You can see it. You know what I'm saying? Evidently, if they see it, these my closest friends. You know what I'm saying? They see it. And they told me, they said, bro, you know, I'm proud of you. And I said, bro, and I told one of my homeboys the other day, I said, man, you know what? You sounded just like my mama when you said that. I ain't heard nobody say they proud of me, and I don't know how long. But the reason that you're telling me you proud of me, bro, is probably the best feeling in the world, because it's not nothing that I went and accomplished. It's not nothing I went and bought. It's just me simply changing myself and staying to the person I know I am. And that means a lot. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And like he told me, he said, man, and he was one of the ones that was like, bro, when you say you went to therapy back in the day, I was like, man, you going to talk to somebody? He said, but T, to be honest, I had to go do the same thing. And I said, and I'm proud of you. Look at you now. So you could see it, you know, we can see it in each other. You know what I mean? And like you said, Ashley, like some people are just uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? But hey, man, you got to do what you got to do. And if it takes you talking to a complete stranger to get yourself their help, hey, do it. By all means, you got my blessing.
All it is that light drives out darkness. If my light offends you, if the fact that I'm praising God and talking to you, being transparent about who I am and how God saved me and where I'm at and where I'm going to be, if that offends you, it's my light.
Right.
Because that's all you get, and it's my light.
Right.
And it drives away darkness. It make them devils and demons and all, it make you uncomfortable. That's all I look at it as. Because I have way more people that love me and rock with me than dislike me. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So it's just my light. It's my light. It's your light when you get into places. Because we've all been somewhere and you didn't know what it was, and you might couldn't have called it, nothing to put your finger on it. But as soon as you walked in, you felt uncomfortable. As soon as you walked in, you felt like, you know, the conversation stopped. It's my light, baby. It's my light. It's the what Mary man says, it's the God in me. It's the God.
I got three things I want to say too. The first thing I want to say is that we always being watched. Always.
Amen.
Somebody's always watching us. The way we move, the things we say, and how we react to certain things. They always watching us.
Right.
The second thing is sometimes you got to get uncomfortable to get comfortable. And we all can relate. We all are doing that process now. You got to get uncomfortable to get comfortable.
We
used to talk about therapy. I got a few people that I need to thank. Now, outside of you hear me say my grandmother, but it's more to my grandmother than just this person you're looking at. First of all, I want to thank my sister Roy and Colleen for inviting me to my church, Change Your Mind Ministries. A church. My statement there, you have to be willing to change your mindset, to be willing to make the change to be a better version of you.
Come on.
So I want to thank my pastor. Thank my pastor, Wendell Jones, for not just being my friend. He's my mentor, my pastor, my go-to, and he's also my therapist. He really is. He's my spiritual father.
Amen.
And then I want to thank my brother, my other bishop, Bishop Chris Dillard. He had a big part in being in my corner, man, when I was losing a lot of my family members. He was right there for me. Him and his wife was there for me. Right. So big shout out, a big thank you to them. But really, most of all, Thomas, I want to appreciate you, man, and thank you. I told him a long time ago, man, when me and Thomas met, I said, man, we're going to do big things. I told him that years ago. And we just had met. Right. Man, God got something for us, man. And look where we're at now.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you, man, for giving us a platform, laying the platform down for allowing us to just be us.
Definitely. Yes, sir. Definitely. Now, I knew from that first podcast I was home. That first podcast was home. I was like, okay, listen, this is beautiful. But definitely every time Thomas has reached out to me, it's never a no. Because anytime that I could be a part of something that One Nation Podcast 864 does, because I know he's doing it for the right reasons.
Yes.
I'm Fly Feet Boutique and Style gonna show up for y'all.
Yes.
Always.
And I appreciate y'all for doing that, man. And you're right, Ashley. It's home. You know what I'm saying? When we get in here, man, like you say, we keep it a buck. and it's a place where you can be yourself. You know what I mean?
And we
And I
have uncles
love
along the
sharing
way.
this.
You gotta love it.
Right. And like Kenny say, he want to give thanks, man. I just want to thank first off y'all for helping me make this thing happen on Tuesdays, man. I got people that really, they'll chime in later. So a lot of them at work, but they'll catch it later and they be like, "Yo, that was a dope podcast. How can I get on the panel? If you want to, let's do it," because I know Kenny and Ashley, they're gonna come through. They're gonna make you feel like you at home. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
And
Definitely.
yeah, I want to give a shout out. I don't know if this brother watch it, but one of my partners, Toriano Watts, man. Toriano Watts, I met him back in 2000, and my mom died in 11. I met him in 2012, and Tori is the one that got my head back into the Bible and got me back in the church. So shouts out
Thank
to
you,
Toriano
Tori.
Watts, man. I love you for that, brother. And
Yes.
man, like I say, man, anything going forward with this podcast, and I think Ashley done dropped it on you, Kenny. So I think you got to come up with the topic for
I already
next
got it.
week.
I already got it. I already got
It's
it.
a revolving door.
I already got it.
Now, do you? Let
Y'all
me ask you
want
this:
Y'all
Do
want
you
it?
want to? I want to hear it. I want to
All
hear.
right.
Oh, look at
Next
Ashley.
topic for next Tuesday is prayer and purpose.
Oh,
On purpose. PP.
That's
Prayer
it.
and purpose.
That's
I
it.
got.
That's it. That's
we
it.
already
I got
on
you.
Prayer,
fire.
prayer and purpose.
Yeah.
That's it.
We
It's
already
done.
on
I
fire.
got
It's done. It's done.
Yeah. Okay. We can
I can't
definitely
wait.
do that. I'm with that.
I
I
can't
know.
wait.
Hey,
I
I'm
know,
telling you,
man.
it's gonna be one. It's gonna be one for the books. One for
I
the book.
can't wait.
Yeah.
I got my
It might
shopping
be-
shoes lined up.
Probably gonna be crying. I'm gonna be crying a little
Oh
bit.
yeah,
Kenny, so get
me
ready.
too. Me too.
I ain't fooling with
Hey,
Kenny. I had to get me a washcloth. I ain't fooling with Kenny.
But y'all, we don't.
y'all.
Hey, we forgot one major
Yeah.
person to thank. We forgot one major person to thank, man. That's our Lord and Savior.
Amen.
Oh yeah.
Thank
Always.
God for giving,
Amen.
Always, man. Thank
for
you,
giving
God.
us this voice,
Real
man.
talk.
Giving us the voice to
Big
speak from our
God
heart.
for the win.
That's it.
Big God.
You know.
Right.
And Thomas, I'm just gonna lay this out there to you, man. I think it wouldn't hurt anything. Just gonna throw it out there. If we start praying before we do this podcast and
Come
start
on.
closing out,
Yeah.
start closing out with prayer. Open up with prayer.
I'm gonna tell you what. I'm glad you said that because the one I'm doing Thursday, we're gonna need some prayer before it because
Okay.
I got a mean topic coming through.
Man.
It's
Ooh,
gonna
I
be-
can't wait.
I can't wait.
It's one for the ages, bro, man.
Okay.
Just tune in Thursday, check it out.
Okay.
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 Man. Kenny, you wanna finish it off with a prayer?
Man, I ain't got no problem, man. Let's do
Okay.
it.
Yes, sir.
Dear Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for the topic tonight. Therapy and
Mhm.
faith. You know, God, without you, we can't be nothing. Without you, we are nothing. So, Father, I want to thank you for this
Amen.
avenue of these brothers and sisters that you allowed me to align with. You are speaking through us to touch the generations from young
Yes.
to middle age to old. You're giving us this
Yes.
voice. We understand in this journey you got us on. Some are gonna hate what we do, gonna dislike what we do, but some are gonna fall right in line and jump right on the board with us. And that's what we are here
Amen.
for. When you say when two or more come together and agree, everything
Yes.
falls in place and everything happens. So, Father, I'm grateful
Yes.
to A64 podcast. Every Tuesday, you give us different topics. You give us different ways to be vulnerable and to share ourselves with this market of people. You know, we don't know who.
Yes.
We know some. We know some we don't know. But it's billions of people that watch this podcast. So, Lord, whether we save 10 or save 10,000, I'm just grateful.
Amen.
Thank you for giving us this voice. Thank you for putting your healing hand on each and every one of us. And Lord, thank you for
Amen.
allowing us to be allowing us to make mistakes, but learn from our mistakes, and also thank you for pouring into us what you want us to pour into everybody else. It's in the Master's name of
Amen.
Jesus I do pray. Amen.
Amen. You did
Like
your
that,
big
bro.
one with that one, Kenny. You did your big one.
Yeah, he did.
Hey, y'all crazy.
Hey, man.
Listen, we can take collection
Thank
now.
y'all
The
again.
doors
I
of the
know
church
it.
are now open.
Y'all something else.
You're right, Ash.
Y'all something else.
Hey, look, man. It's been a good podcast again, y'all.
Yeah.
And I'll catch up. But like I say, next Tuesday, Kenny, we got you. We're gonna do it again. And
All right.
I'm gonna see some people that reached out to me that want to be on it. So we just gonna see. You know what I mean? So with that being said, y'all, it's the One Nation Podcast 864. We're signing off. Peace.
Good,
Later,
peace.
y'all.
Peace later.
Bye.
Who the fuck that was on the West End? Who the fuck from the West End? New motherfuckers. I need y'all to follow the page though, bro. Follow.
Again, I'm sorry. Yeah, give you a second. It's been a minute. Let me let you over here, please. I'm sorry. Excuse me, Sheila.